Notice something about that question before we answer it. Nobody asks whether Belgium has the right to exist. Nobody asks whether Pakistan, a state created in the same decade, on explicitly religious grounds, with far more displacement, has a right to exist. The question is only ever asked about one country. That asymmetry is not a footnote. It's the first piece of evidence. Start with the name. The word Jew comes from Judea. The people are named after the land. That's not poetry, that's linguistics, and it's a fossil of origin. No other nation on earth carries its homeland inside its own name. The Romans called the province Judea because that's who lived there. Then the archaeology. This is where the argument stops being an argument. Hebrew inscriptions, Judean coins, seals bearing biblical names. The ruins of Jewish kingdoms you can walk through this afternoon. Jewish bones, artifacts, and monuments in that ground going back roughly 4,000 years. Islam arrived in the 7th century AD. That is not two competing claims. That is a gap of 2,500 years. And a Lebanese Christian, Danny Bermawi, asks the question that follows: how can the Jews colonize their own country? Because that word, colonizer, has a precise meaning. A colonizer comes from somewhere. The British in India came from Britain, and when it ended, they went home. The French in Algeria went home to France. So where, exactly, are the Jews supposed to go home to? Now Rome. After the Jewish revolts, Rome crushed Judea. And then Rome did something colder than mass killing. It deleted the name. It renamed the province Syria Palestina, deliberately naming the land after the Philistines, the ancient enemies of the Israelites, precisely because the insult would sting. And who are the Philistines? A sea people with Aegean roots out of Cyprus and Greece. Not Arabs. Essentially Europeans. And they'd already been extinct as a people for centuries when Rome dug up their name to use as a weapon. Understand what that means. The word Palestine is a Roman erasure order. It was invented for the express purpose of removing the word Israel from the map. And this isn't a Zionist reading of history. Mozab Hassan Youssef says it, and his father founded Hamas. 2,000 years later, that invented name is the single most powerful argument used to prove that Israel never existed. The erasure didn't fail. It just took 20 centuries to be believed. Then the return, which has no parallel. Every people ever exiled from their land assimilated and vanished. Every single one. The Philistines gone. The Phoenicians. The Hittites. The Amorites. The Babylonians. Conquered, scattered, absorbed into whoever conquered them. That's the rule, and it's a very reliable rule, because 2,000 years is far more than enough time to stop existing. The Jews did not vanish. Scattered across 100 countries. No state. No army. No shared street language. Expelled from England in 1290. Expelled from Spain in 1492. Murdered in pogroms across every century. Then nearly annihilated in the Holocaust. And every single year, in every single one of those countries, at the end of every Passover, the same sentence: next year in Jerusalem. For 2,000 years. And then they went back. Same land. Same city. And revived a language that had been dead on the street for millennia. This has happened exactly once in human history. Once. So when someone calls it a colonial project, ask them to name the other one. There isn't one. Now the part almost nobody knows. Over 800,000 Jews were expelled from Arab and Muslim countries: Iraq, Yemen, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Syria. Communities that predated Islam itself. Baghdad was roughly a third Jewish at the start of the 20th century. Jews had lived in Iraq for over 2,500 years. Some were given 24 hours to leave. Property seized. Bank accounts frozen. Citizenship revoked. Morocco's Jewish community went from about 265,000 to roughly 2,000. Lebanon's is now under 100 people. And it is a Moroccan Muslim, Mustafa Ezarghani, who calls this a moral collapse of the Arab world that deserves an apology, which has never come. Where did those 800,000 people go? There was one door open on earth: Israel. Today, roughly half of Israel's Jews descend from those refugees. They are not European settlers. They are Middle Eastern people who were expelled from the Middle East. So when someone says Israel has no right to exist, make them finish the sentence. Because that sentence ends with 800,000 human beings standing at a border with nowhere on earth to go. That's not an abstraction. That's the answer.